Hi, everyone. We're our program at MUSC, or Medical University of South Carolina. We're a new program, just received accreditation in January of this year. So this will be our first time in the main match for our new PGY1 class. We matched 4 residents in SOAP last year. We look forward to adding to our cohort. I'm going to be giving part of the presentation. My name's Lindsay Money. I'm the program director. We also have Kristen Roback, who's one of our inpatient attendings and does general rehab. And we have our program coordinator, Misty Durante, who will also be kind of sharing in this presentation with me. So this is our crew currently. There's currently 12 attendings. We have a 13th attending who is an additional sports physician who is joining in September. There's the 12 of us have a really wide span of interests and clinical interest in what we do. And so I do brain injury. We have several inpatient physicians. We have a physician, Dr. Smith, who does spasticity management. We have five interventional spine and musculoskeletal physicians. Like I said, I'm the program director, Missy is the program coordinator, and then Amit Nagpal is our division chief, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, but is here in spirit with us. So just some general information about our program. It's a categorical program. We have 4 PGY1 positions available each year. As I said before, we received our initial accreditation in January last year, so we were lucky and able to SOAP 4 PGY1 residents. And this will be upcoming year, we hope to match our 2nd class. Kind of just general information about our program. We'll go into our rotations a little bit later, but frequently asked question is about call. And so call is PGY 2 through 4 years taken from home. Residents always have the option to go in and evaluate a patient, but most of the calls that you receive can be managed over the phone. Frequency of call will be about once per month while you're on the inpatient rotation, similar for outpatient. When you're on inpatient, you only take call for inpatient, and when you're on outpatient, you'll only have call for outpatient. And some just additional kind of perks of the residency program. We have given our residents we have budgeted for an iPad for all of our residents. An iPhone is also provided by GME to all residents at MUSC. We have the ability, we haven't designated any source texts, and so residents have the ability to pick what they feel they would learn best from. We get membership to both AAP and PM&R throughout all of residency, so even in PGY 1 year. And to at least 2 conferences. Additional conferences will just be pending any participation or available funds. We do have a pretty generous educational stipend. At the current time, it's $500 per year throughout all 4, and then that kind of renews every year throughout residency. Here's the basic salary information as of this year for MUSC. Just so you know, we have a pretty unique incentive program for residents. And so there's a 4% salary incentive payment every year for essentially completing a QI project. And so everybody in the residency program completes the same project. It's a very minimal time commitment, and you get basically additional salary on top of the salary you already get. 21 days of vacation leave, 21 days of sick days. For conferences, there is protected time Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. we have developed the program so that all core content will be provided on an annual basis, and each topic is covered monthly. And so we have a wide range of topics from anatomy, sports medicine, spinal cord injury, acquired brain injury, pain, and every module is assigned an attending leader who can structure that month essentially however they choose to structure it. There is annual ultrasound education every fall in a 2-month block, taught by primarily by our sports physicians. However, there's also contribution from the physicians that do spasticity management, so that we can cover both anatomy that would be needed for intra-articular injections as well as visualization of muscular structures. There is a pretty sound mentorship built within our program. When I developed it, I made sure to put this in there. And so there's going to be built-in time within the didactic calendar to account for mentorship. All residents are assigned mentors when they start residency. And so it'll be one resident from each PGY level. And as of right now, there's at least 3 faculty members. And these faculty members are, I made it so that there's at least 1 inpatient doc, there's at least 2 outpatient docs, and we try to make it so that there's a sports medicine physician, an interventional spine or pain management physician, so that residents can have mentorship for any potential area of clinical interest for them. And I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Roback so she can go over clinical rotations.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about our rotation schedule. First, starting when we look at intern year, it's a good mix of things with time spent on internal medicine, as well as getting experience with stroke neurology, EM, the ICU, radiology, room, neurosurgery, geriatrics, orthopedics, and PM&R. So you kind of get the full gamut of medicine in PGY1. And then PGY2 through 4, all of our rotations occur in a 2-month block with a mixture of inpatient and outpatient each year. And PGY2 is 50-50 inpatient, outpatient. PGY3 has 4 months inpatient, then some 4 months outpatient, 2 months dedicated to EMG, although EMG exposure is also spread throughout the rest of the residency outpatient experiences. And then there's 2 months dedicated to pediatrics. That's a mixture of inpatient and outpatient pediatrics. And in 4th year, a little bit less inpatient and more outpatient time. And we additionally add in 2 months of acute care consults, getting experience on with those patients, and 4 months of elective as well, where you can select from various experiences, including EMG, interventional procedures, more consults, peds rehab, or outpatient clinics. And then within the outpatient experiences, PGY4 too, there's also 2 months dedicated just to interventional procedures to really get that experience. Next one. Okay. So next I'll talk a little bit about each of our clinical sites. Starting with the inpatient hospitals, these are all of our main hospitals in downtown Charleston, all located really close to the historic areas of Charleston. And here residents gain experience with acute care consults for both adults and pediatric patients at Shawn Jenkins Children's Hospital. This is the only level 1 trauma center in the Low Country and has been named again the #1 hospital in South Carolina. In total, this is about 900 acute care beds, with about 700 between University Medical Center and the Ashley River Tower, and 250 at Shawn Jenkins. And then we have our rehab hospital. And here we have exposure to general acute inpatient rehab with a wide array of patients. It's currently a 49-bed hospital with 3 physician teams. It is a joint venture between MUSC and Encompass, and is Joint Commission accredited for stroke and hip fracture rehab. There is going to be an upcoming expansion at this hospital where we'll be adding 20 more private beds to be a total of 69 beds. And they're starting renovating this fall with a gym renovation too to get new equipment there. And this is located in North Charleston. And then lastly, we have our ambulatory clinical sites where residents will gain exposure to a wide variety of outpatient clinics. These are all throughout the greater Charleston area, including downtown Charleston. There's MSK clinics, spine clinics, general rehab clinics, sports clinics. And here you'll also have procedure opportunities for intrathecal baclofen pumps and botulinum tests and injections for spasticity management, interventional spine procedures in sports, and then regenerative medicine too, including PRP with some of our sports docs and electrodiagnostic studies. And I think then I'm handing off to Missy to talk a little bit about Charleston and why it's so great.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Missy. I'm the residency program coordinator. I've lived in Charleston for 20 plus years, and I think one of the best parts about training at MUSC is getting to live here in Charleston. You're just minutes from beaches like Folly that's shown here, Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palms, where you can just relax, you can go surfing, or just kind of enjoy the water or take a stroll on the beach. Also, the downtown King Street there is the main hub for food and shopping and nightlife, and there's really no shortage of Southern charm anywhere you go while you're downtown. We're known for our restaurants. We have a vibrant arts and music scene, and there's plenty of outdoor activities as kayaking, boating, visiting a bunch of the nearby parks around town. And of course, this beautiful landmark, the angel oak tree that we have shown here, as well as several historic forts that really remind you of the city's deep roots. It's a welcoming, lively city, and it really makes residency here a unique experience. Next slide. So we matched 4 incredible interns that started with us in July. First, we have Scott Creedman. He went to school right here at MUSC in Charleston. Stephen Johnson came from Dartmouth Medical School. Ave Kiefer went to University of Maryland Medical School. And then Jason Kim attended medical school down in Florida at Nova Southeastern. We've listed their email addresses here for you guys. Please feel free to reach out to them with any questions that you may have about our program. And then here are our social media accounts. We are on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. Please reach out to us, follow us for more information throughout the year. We try to post as much as possible to keep you updated. Our handle is MUSC_PMR. And with that, we will take any questions that you guys have.
So it looks like there's a question. I don't know if this was for us or the previous group, but there was a question about planned fellowships. Was that the previous one?
No, that just came up.
Okay. We do have planned fellowships in the works. And so right now there's an anesthesia pain fellowship, and as well as a family medicine, sports medicine fellowship that our attendings work really closely with. And then there's also the plan to start a NAS interventional spine fellowship in the coming years.
There's another question from Judith. For neurology strokes, could students also rotate on that as an elective during PGY 2 through 4?
We don't have that right now as an opportunity for elective time. The elective time is a list of pre-selected PM&R rotations. And so you would be able to get stroke through acute inpatient consults or something like that. But right now during PGY 2 through 4, it's just PM&R rotations.
This is a 5-minute warning.
Are there any opportunities for residents to do research, ways to get protected research time, research funding, etc.?
Yeah, so we have a ton of opportunities for research. We have several physicians who are actively participating in both government and industry-sponsored research. And so there's ample opportunity to get involved in their studies. And there is time, protected time. It's a little bit different than most programs do, but the mentorship program that I was talking about earlier, that time is protected within our didactic calendar and includes opportunities for research, and that protected time you can use to do research or whatever it is you need to get done during that time.
What aspect of PM&R do you anticipate being the strongest aspect of the program?
I can answer this if you'd like. Right now I think pain and spine are very strong areas of this program. We have a lot of people doing everything from value-based spine care to high-level injections, spinal cord stimulators, hypoplasties, that you don't see at a lot of programs. And I think we're still growing a lot of other areas because we're relatively new. And so I think all of these areas are going to become strong in time. But I think we have a great group right out the gate.
Thank you for taking the time to share more information about MUSC PM&R program. What makes someone a good fit?
Oh man. I think it's just man, I don't even know how to answer that. I think it just depends. We are a new program, and so coming to our program, you kind of have to take that into account because, we only have a PGY1 class right now. And so because of that, I anticipate a lot of change in the next 4 years as we grow our program. But I also think while that can be daunting, it is one of the strengths of our program because everybody's really excited about this and wants to put the time into developing a really good residency program. And so we are willing to make those changes if we get feedback that there may be a better way to do something than we thought about before. I don't know if Dr. Roback has other comments.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, looking always for well-rounded people who are willing to kind of roll with some of the changes as we figure things out.
As a new program, what are some things you're hoping to emulate from other programs, and what are some of the things you feel make you stand out from other programs, older programs, sorry?
I will say when Dr. Moni was building this program, she really made a vested effort to try and take all of the best things out of all of the faculty's residency programs and try to come up with a plan for a residency that could kind of really work on focusing on those highlights and kind of trying to address some of the deficiencies in other programs. So I think there's been a lot of effort that's gone into the development of this program. And the willingness to change is still there, as opposed to some older programs that might, have already been doing things the same way for 20 plus years.
And we have 1 more minute left.
Okay. What is the expected average number of US guided, ultrasound guided injections that residents will graduate with?
Oh, a ton. Our sports physicians primarily use ultrasound guidance in their injections, and they run pretty busy clinics. And so it will be hundreds if I had to guess. The other thing quickly before we leave is somebody asked about interventional training. Training does include fluoroscopy. Multiple of our interventional spine physicians have actual OR days, not just procedure room days. And so they're doing things like implanting spinal cord stimulators, they're doing kyphoplasties, they're doing all of that stuff when they're in the OR.
Okay, well, thank you so much, MUSC. It was really fantastic to learn about your program.